All right, here we go. Taberne Talks. We got a special treat today. This is, and I was saying before we went on air that, I'm in my, I think, 65th show or something like that. And, I've had a lot of mixtures of agents that have come on from different offices, from KW to Encompass to EXP, you name it. We've had them on Weichard. But I have someone here today that we haven't had on, and from someone from the SERHANT team, which everybody knows, obviously, the Ryan Serhant name, right? I watched the show. I've watched it since season one, $1 million listing, that is, because I'm an old guy. So I went all the way back to Serhant's beginning. And then, of course, I watched the current seasons that he has right now. Michael Prince is on, right? So if you don't know his name, you're going to know his name after today. I'm happy that he said yes to come on because, like I said, we haven't had anybody on from his team yet. So I think this is going to be a really good episode, and it changes it up a little bit for us too. And what I mean by that is he's a luxury agent, right? So he's not your average guy that we get on the show here. So I think it's really going to give us something that you're all going to want to hear. So thanks for coming on.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yes, you're welcome. So give us some background on how you got into business, how you got to where you are right now.
Sure. So I'm originally from South Carolina.
Okay.
I moved to Philadelphia in February of 2002. There aren't too many smart people that move to Philadelphia in February.
Right.
But I did.
Was there a snowstorm or was there a...
I don't remember, but I know it was cold, especially for my South Carolina blood.
Right. What were you doing up here? Right.
So I actually moved here to play music.
Okay.
I was playing in bands and making records and going on tour. And I kind of felt like I had done all I could do in Myrtle Beach, which is kind of where I grew up.
Cool.
And a buddy of mine that I had met in college was from Doylestown. And around the time that I graduated, he was like, "Hey man, I'm going to move back up to Philly." And I was like, "Are you moving to Philly or are you moving back to Doylestown?" He's like, I'm going to move to the city. I was like, "Awesome. Well, right. I'm coming too."
Okay. Cool.
Because I knew that I wanted to be I knew that I wanted to be somewhere in the Northeast, like New York,
right?
Boston, DC, Philly, whatever.
Right.
And it didn't care. It didn't matter to me.
Right. Just wanted to be in one of the big cities.
Right. When we had that conversation, I had not yet set foot in the city. I came up and visited actually right before 9/11.
Wow.
I was planning to move here in September of 2001.
Okay.
And for obvious reasons that got pushed back. And I wound up moving here like 1st of February of 2002.
Wow.
And for the first like 12 plus years, music was my main focus.
Okay.
I was playing in bands. We were doing some like regional touring. I was making records. And when I wasn't on tour, when I was in the city, I had like music related jobs. Okay. I worked at Guitar Center for a while. I worked for Live Nation, over at the
cool jobs. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. And then I got into, and then later towards the end, I kind of got into hospitality. I was working in, I started off as a bartender, and then I kind of got a little old for those hours.
Okay.
And I started working in the office. Do you know the Barbary? You ever hear of the Barbary?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So I was doing the books at the Barbary.
Okay.
And keeping the licenses, up to date and the taxes and all that stuff.
Right.
And I had like one shift a week, and I was like, I had DJ nights and stuff. But I kind of got to this point in my early 30s, where I just, I kind of wanted something that the realization was that music wasn't going to be the end all be all.
Okay.
And I wanted to find something else. And I had a friend of mine who was an agent at Keller Williams, and he invited me to coffee. And so we went to coffee at
the classic setup.
Right. So we went to coffee, and he asked me, he's like, "Have you ever thought about working in real estate?"
Right.
And so to go back a little bit, my stepfather was a member of the MLS in South Carolina for 52 years.
Wow. Was he an agent?
He was a broker.
He was a broker. Okay.
Yeah. And my mom was in like luxury property management and did some interior design.
So you have some background already.
So it was,
Basically. Right. It was in your
it's in the
blood.
blood, so
Yeah,
to
that's what I mean.
speak.
It's in the blood.
But it was, what was funny is like, despite that, I'd never really thought of getting into real estate. Like that was like what my folks did.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and it wasn't one of those things where they like pressured me into doing it or anything like that.
Right.
And when he posted it to me, I was like, yeah. He's like, I think you'd be good at it. And I was like, yeah, I kind of think I probably would be too. You know, so I just followed the bouncing ball. I did, you know, I was like, what's step one? Okay. Like get an online course.
Get the license, right?
Right.
Do all
So
that.
I did all that.
Yep.
And I started Keller Williams back when it was one office.
Center City.
Yeah, it was called, KW Center City.
Right. Yes. I remember.
I came on at about the same time that Noah Ostroff and Sky Michaels came on, when they had that big that sort of big, when they got really big.
Right.
I came on. In fact, Sky Michaels gave me the first lead I ever got.
That's awesome.
The rental lead.
That's great.
And and I did well. Like I capped my first year, which apparently is not super common. I don't know. And I was
especially in this market.
Right. And then I did, so I was there for a few years, and then right when they split, because they split a few years later into, I guess, Center City and Philly.
They both broke.
They broke off.
Their own thing. Right.
In all of that turmoil, I left and went to work for Ori at OCF.
I know Ori.
I wanted to learn new development.
Okay.
I was interested in that. At that point, my folks had retired from like the business and were doing that on the side.
Okay.
My parents, my mom and my stepdad, they flipped. Gosh, I mean, I don't even know how many houses. They did 19 in one neighborhood.
Wow.
So they did a lot of that, and I was interested in learning that. So I went to work for Ori.
Okay.
Spent about 4 years with him. And then during the pandemic, I popped over to Compass. Okay. And was happy to be there, excited about their platform. You know,
they were the new thing.
Oh
right?
God,
they were like the technology and all that other stuff.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's funny. My assistant at the time, she was like, you know, if you didn't work at OCF, I was going to list my house with Compass because I love those black and white signs and
right. That was the new age.
Yeah, the branding was hot at the time.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was there, but and we can get into how I wound up at Serhant maybe later, but and eventually I wound up at Serhant about 3 years ago. Okay. And now I think we're up to date.
I mean, you know, and Serhant is obviously a great pick because he's got a great name, right? And I guess you're on the ground floor in Philly here, kind of. How long has he been in Philly now?
So he expanded to Philadelphia it was August 1st, 2023, but not April Fool's joke. It was a real deal.
Right.
And,
right.
And I was one of the first 7 or 8 people.
Wow. So you are on the ground floor.
Yeah. It's interesting. You talked about knowing him from his first, like season 1. So like for me, as a real estate agent, I have absolutely no interest in watching somebody else do what I do.
I hear you.
When I get home from work, I don't want
to. That's what we.
Right. When I get home from a long day,
watch that.
I do not want to turn on the television and watch some guy younger than me selling houses.
multi-million-dollar deals,
10x what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And making it look really easy.
It's true,
right?
It's true.
So when I was at Compass, one of the guys on my team, he knew I like to read real estate books. Okay. And I do. I've been reading books like that my whole career. Yeah. And he was like, "Hey, have you heard of this guy?" And I was like, "No, I have not." But he gave me the Sell It Like Serhant, the first book.
Great book.
I remember he gave it to me in March, and it sat on my desk. And then I went on vacation in August. I went down to Myrtle Beach, stayed at my parents' beach house, and it was raining like the first 2 or 3 days. It was absolute crap weather.
Right.
So I stayed inside and I read it, and I read it in 2 days, blew my mind. It was like,
and you were sold then.
No other real estate book I'd ever read.
Right.
Yeah. And I actually emailed him and asked him if he was interested in like a mentorship role. I didn't know that he had a mentorship program. Emailed me back the next day, connected me with a guy in his mentorship program, and I joined the mentorship program and got in his coaching program.
And it was history from there.
Yeah. And then he came to Philly for the opening of the Laurel. 3 weeks later, I got to meet him in person.
That's awesome.
And 6 months later, we're opening in Serhant, Pennsylvania. And I was Like I
Ready to go.
couldn't raise my hand high
you
enough
were
and
ready to
fast
go.
enough. I was like, this
That's
is
awesome.
exactly what I want to be a part
Yeah,
of.
I mean, and like I said, the name itself speaks for itself. So I think you made a great move.
Appreciate that.
because he's got such a big name. But like I said, I feel like I grew up on him because his show has been around, forever. I mean, Frederick and all the other guys from New York City, that show was awesome, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I'm in the mortgage business, and that for me was like, wow, I wonder if I could do deals like that.
Yeah.
I mean, those were big deals they were doing, and it wasn't normal, because you don't see that in Philly, right?
Normal in New York, but not anywhere else, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Only normal in New York. You're like, wow. So
Well,
I was
so
like,
you remember him before he had gray hair, huh?
Oh yeah, I was like mesmerized. By
Sorry,
him,
Ryan.
right? It was crazy. You're right. Now, you barely. You still recognize him because he still has a young face.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So, all right. So listen, you do a ton of social media. I've seen your social media. Everyone else, I think, has seen your social media now. Like you've really come a long way. Something that jumped out at me is you won an award for content execution. I haven't seen that award. I thought I should get that. No, I'm joking. Where's my content execution?
I'm sorry.
award?
I should have brought it. We could have set it on the table right here for everyone to see.
Right. Can I borrow that? No. So anyway, explain that. Is that just for Serhant, or is that just an industry-wide award? Or how does one win that?
Oh, I appreciate that. I wish it was citywide or industry-wide. No, that was just a local Serhant award.
Okay.
I won something similar in 24. So I did not think I would be up for an award again in 25,
right.
but I was gracious enough to get that. And what made me feel good is it was not just leadership, but we have Serhant Studios.
Okay.
One of the great things about Serhant is that we're not just a real estate brokerage. We also have like a studio team.
Okay.
As part of it as well.
Yeah.
And the head of our Serhant Studios here in Philadelphia was like, this guy calls me more than anybody else. This guy, we're doing more shoots with him.
He wants to learn, right?
He's got these great ideas. We collaborate. So
do you do the podcast through, because I know Serhant has a podcast, I guess, where the agents run it. Sometimes I've seen on the show in New York.
There is a studio in New York.
Okay, but they don't have one
We
here,
do
too.
not yet have a studio in Philadelphia. I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
We're working on it. I'm promised that we're going to have that
I didn't mean to put you
soon.
on call there either.
No.
You need to do that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Right. But I think that's a great idea if you did one here. Great.
Yeah. Well, maybe this is the beginning of it being on your podcast.
I would love it. Right.
Yeah.
So, all right. So you won the award. Your content's great, which I've seen the social media. It's, it seems like a lot of the agents are doing video now. How important is that?
I mean, you have to. If it didn't happen on Instagram, I'm not sure it really happened,
Yeah.
Is
Instagram your number one?
For me, it is, because I think of my age demographic.
Okay.
But I mean, there's a guy, and forgive me, I don't remember his name. He's going to kill me. He sold an $18 million apartment in New York City off of TikTok.
Wow.
Because
he did a video,
I think it was the daughter saw it, showed it to her dad. Her dad buys the apartment. And the
chances of that are
right. Well, and that's kind of the Serhant way, right? Ryan was a catalyst. I mean, for online, for doing, video content. Sure. He was early in YouTube.
Yeah.
Super early with all that stuff. And that's why he's been, he's embraced media. I think he's, I don't know. I don't want to insult either one of them by saying this, but I mean, he feels like the Gary Vaynerchuk of real estate to me.
Big. Sure.
I mean, that is we are very social forward.
When you come to an office like Serhant, is it almost expected that you should be doing video?
For sure. Right. Yeah.
Is that one of the things they say you need to do?
Yeah. You're expected to step up your game in that department for sure.
Okay.
I mean, shameless plug. We are the most followed brand in real estate in the world, period, full stop.
Wow.
We have more.
Even more than KW.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Thanks to Ryan, Serhant is the most followed brand in real estate in the world, certifiable.
And that's because of the social media that he does and the way he brands himself, period, I guess, with the agents.
I mean, it certainly helps to have the most recognizable real estate agent in the world,
Right.
as the face and the name of your brokerage.
Right.
Right. And so we all, I think those of us who are interested in media, those of us who are interested in selling real estate that way and are sort of future forward with that, I think we gravitate towards Ryan because that's how he's done it.
Okay. So you're in the Philly market, right? You're a Philly guy right now. You're in the city. You primarily do Philly business, I guess, or where's your primary market?
Yeah. So I have lived in Fishtown for 18 years.
Okay.
It's hard to believe I've lived.
You've seen Fishtown really grow from nothing to what it is now.
I like to make the joke that when I moved to Fishtown, there were 2 bars and a coffee shop in between.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, 18 years it's been
and you
built.
ran between each one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like it was nothing.
No, and I shouldn't say that. Fishtown's always been a really nice neighborhood, but it was certainly foreign to me at the time.
So is it that area is still exploding, I guess, as far as what you're seeing?
Yeah. I mean, it's not the hottest. I don't think it's the hottest neighborhood in the country anymore.
What's the hottest neighborhood in Philly right now, in your opinion?
Oof. Oh,
Where's
man.
the one section where I can't touch right now in Philly because it's just steaming?
Wow. What's the hottest market in Philadelphia right now?
Because I know it goes by neighborhood here, right? So every agent that I have one from the city says to me, Alex, it depends on the neighborhood, right? Like you get one really hot neighborhood, where we're doing deals, and then one neighborhood is just the listings are sitting in it. It's ghosts.
Right. So I think to be honest with you, I think it's more nuanced than that.
Okay.
I think you used to be able to say that maybe pre-COVID, but with what happened with the rates back then and where the rates are now, better than anybody.
Oh yeah, it's a different world.
It's a really interesting market, and it's very like compartmentalized. For instance, I sold a house in Fairmount last week, and in that market, that $500,000 to $700,000 market,
it's hot.
Smoking hot.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. I know that.
But like if you're in a different segment of that market, maybe not so much. Okay. Right. I think the second owner new construction market is really big in Philadelphia, particularly in Fishtown. It's as you remember the boom of like 2016 and 17 and 18.
Oh, yeah.
And
I remember it well.
And as those tax abatements start to expire.
Right. People move them because the taxes kick in. Correct.
Right. So, that second owner that like, my grandfather owned a car dealership. I always think of like that, like that second owner that like demonstrator purchase, that low mileage, kind of thing.
Because people are still going to buy a car at 20-some thousand miles or 30,000 miles. Right. It's still basically
right. New. So basically, if there were any issues with the builder, it's already taken care of.
Yeah.
It's kind of broken in. Maybe you've made a few little upgrades here and there. Like we know it's not a lemon, right? And if there were any issues in the beginning, it's been sorted out already. And so I really think that second owner new construction is a great buy in Philly. Okay. And so that's again one of those other like sub markets,
right? That you find. Right.
Yeah. And then again, recent experience is the best for me. I had some buyers in that 1.2 range out on the main line, and
they're everywhere. I know.
Holy smokes.
There's a lot of those buyers and not enough houses.
We were losing offers to like 20, 19, 22 offers. It's back to like, that's back to like 2021 COVID times.
So I'm glad you brought this up, because the agents that, the pre-approvals that I'm doing and sending them to the agents, and they're getting outbid again, like you're saying. This seems like this came back big time, like back to COVID, right? Like it went away for a while, and then now it's like full force back. Is it because the inventory is so bad, or is it because, in your opinion, of course, is it because the inventory is so bad, or is it because now all these buyers are finally saying, you know what, I got to buy. I don't care if the rates are 6%. They're going to be 6% forever now. I finally registered in my mind that this is what it's going to be, so I might as well jump back in the market and buy now. Like, what's going on?
I think that it's a combination of all of it.
Okay.
I think that...
Well, the inventory has always been an issue, but is it even? Well,
the inventory is a big issue, right? Because there's so many people. I talked to someone the other day who bought a house in South Philly in 2021. She said her rate was in the 2.6.
There you go. I remember that well.
I'd heard 2.8. I don't know if I'd heard anybody with 2.
I had 2.25. I did.
Oh my goodness.
2.25.
If you give me a 2.25 right now, I'll buy 5 houses from you.
Of course you would. You'd be on my phone all day and night with a contract.
That's right. That's right.
I wouldn't be able to breathe.
That's right.
I wish that came back, God.
I know.
Please.
I know.
Just give me one more chance.
But even that,
one more taste.
Well, you remember, but even in that time period, that presented some problems of its own.
Yes.
Because there wasn't enough.
There was no inventory.
There wasn't enough.
Yeah,
and what did we just say?
Yeah.
There's no inventory. It's the same problem.
Right.
I think it's a part of what you're saying. I also think that, people that need to move.
Right.
One of the things that regardless of what the rates are, one of the things that I talk about, one of the sort of the core thoughts that I have is that I want to buy a new house is almost never the catalyst. That's not the reason somebody's buying a new house. Yeah. They're buying a new house because there's some other big life event that is causing them to have a new house, whether it's we got married, we have a baby, we need a yard for the dog, or it's we got divorced, or unfortunately somebody passed away, or the kids moved out of the house and we want to downsize, or I got a new job, or I got fired, or
there's always something.
The real estate, I feel like, is always triggered by something else.
Okay.
And so those things are still happening in people's lives. So that part of the market's kind of always going to be there no matter what.
You think the lock-in effect is for real, that these people at 2.5 and 2.65 truly don't want to still move because they have those rates?
I think there's some of that, but I think that the longer you go, for a while there was a big boom in like renovations because it's like, well, I'm locked in at 2 or 3.
Right. So they would just renovate their home.
We need more space. I need a bigger house, but I don't want to come off this. I don't want to come off of this mortgage.
It's true.
So we'll spend $100,000 or $150,000 or whatever it is.
Yeah, and renovate my house
to add on or something.
Yes, because everybody's working from home and they figure they're going to be there forever.
Right.
So let's just renovate.
But you know as well as I do, Philadelphia's a grid. Everybody's, if you're in the city, your parcel is a rectangle.
Oh yeah.
And you can only go so high and you can only go so wide.
No, you can't. They go up.
Right. That's it.
That's all they go. Yeah. They go straight up, but you're right. You can only go so high.
Right. And not to get into zoning, but there's rules about how far back and how far up you can go.
Right. So, not to jump ahead here, but where do you see it going here then? This thing has gone crazy again in the suburbs. In the city, it hasn't really gone as crazy as the suburbs, right? The main line has been nuts.
Yeah.
Is it more houses are going to come on? Will we start to get more inventory, or are we just millions of houses behind that we're never going to catch up? Like, what's your opinion?
Well, we are certainly millions of houses behind.
Right. Yeah.
We really are. If you look at the inventory numbers and particularly the new build that was happening up to COVID, like I just talked about the boom, like 16, 17, 18, 19.
Building like crazy.
They were just building like crazy.
Yeah, I know.
And
they're not doing that anymore because the cost of everything is high.
It's cost preventative.
Yeah.
Back then, you could build land acquisition separate, but back then you could build a typical Philadelphia new construction house for around, depending on the finishes, for like 300, maybe 350, maybe 275 if it was like, kind of smaller but that's
not anymore. That price is gone.
No, it's way over that now.
Right.
The price of lumber doubled.
You don't find anything under 400,000 right now, right? That's almost impossible to find a house that sells for under.
There are some resales, some older homes that maybe need some work that you're going to find, right? Depending on what zip code you're in, sure. But it's more cost preventative to build. Also, you've got to think about the carrying costs.
Yeah.
One of the reasons we've had this massive rental boom, right? There's over 10,000 units that have come online or are coming online in the river wards up where I live, because of the expiration of the tax abatement or the changing of the tax abatement. When you had a full 10-year tax abatement, a developer could buy some land and while and also the rates, back then the rates, let's say the rates were in the 4s, I believe.
Which was great.
Right. So they're mid to low 4s. So they're buying the land and they're financing the construction.
Yeah.
In the, let's say, mid 4s, and the holding costs with the tax abatement, it was so much lower. And then of course the supply costs, like, you know, like the price of
Through the
lumber
ceiling.
and materials.
Everything is too high.
Before COVID and before the tariffs were much lower.
Yeah.
And so now you've got a thing where, I mean, the residential rate is what, 6.3 as of Monday or Friday?
Low sixes.
Low sixes.
Correct.
So from a corporate borrowing standpoint, from like you know, because you got to get a corporate loan or, you know, a commercial loan.
Oh yeah.
When you're building it in mass.
Right. They can't do it either.
The rate's even higher.
Yeah. The commercial rates are through
the rate's higher. The tax abatement is not the same. You don't get the same savings.
Yeah.
And the price of materials are not the same. So they're just not building houses at the same rate that they once did. And so that's squeezing you from one side. And then you've got the, you know, what we've already talked about, the folks that are sitting on a really low rate. So the resale numbers are down.
Right.
And so you're squeezing the market, you know?
I get a lot of people that are saying, you know, do numbers for me on this property. I may want to sell my property. But they have 2.5% or 3%, whatever they have. I do the numbers on the new property, and it's like, my mortgage payment right now is $2,000 a month. You're telling me it's going to be $4,000 a month. Now, why would I want to do that? Like, that is the pushback that we get as mortgage people there. And then the realtors are coming to us saying, well, make it more attractive. Do a buy down. You know, do an adjustable rate. Do something to try to get those rates into the 5s or the 4s for these people so that it can make it more more attractive for them to go from that $2,000 a month mortgage payment to that $4,000 a month. Maybe you can get it to $3,000 and we can meet them halfway.
Yeah.
You got to be creative.
Totally. The buy down is huge.
Buy down is huge.
It's not, I don't see it advertised or marketed as much as it was a few years ago, but it's
out there.
It's still there.
Right.
It's still there.
I think it's a shiny object situation where, people were like, oh, well, they're being used car salesmen like trying to sell something that, they don't, it's crazy, but that's how people think. And, that they're trying to sell us this product and there's a trick to it. There's something behind the scenes that's going on. I don't trust really what they're saying. And it kind of went away a little bit, but it's definitely there. Movement has a temporary 1 year buy down program where if the rate is 6.25%, let's say right now, they'll give you 5.25% for the first year. And it's paid by Movement. Right.
So it's free.
It's a free 1 year buy down.
Good to know.
Right. So very popular program. And then after the first year to adjust back to the 6.25% or whatever. But that's something that you got to use. And
I know that there are options to permanently buy it down with points up front.
Correct. You could do a permit, which I'm more a fan of because let's just have it all the way down to 5.25% for good and you're done.
Right. Like why do I want to go in at 6.25%?
I agree.
And then, and just hope that the rates go down into the 5 so that I can refinance.
Right.
Or I can buy some points up front, put it down at 5.25% or 4.99 if, depending.
Now, how receptive are the sellers to pay for the buy down right now?
Well, that's the catch. And that's what I was getting to is because what we just talked about, right? You've got to come up, you've got to get to a seller who's willing to give you $20,000, $25,000, $30,000 in an assist to buy down the rate. Correct. And you're not going to do that if what you're trying to buy is in one of those super highly competitive submarkets.
Yeah, because no one's going to, because you're going to have somebody coming in just paying cash or doing whatever. Right. They don't need an assist.
Right. You're not going to be able to do that in, those busy markets that we talked about before.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So you're in the high end market, right? So is there a certain cutoff where Serhant team says, that's a little bit too small for us, maybe as far as price range, or, we're only trying to stick to this kind of buyer, this type of market? What defines luxury in the Philly market?
That's a great question. And it's funny because luxury in Philly, like a brand new construction townhome in Fishtown right now is $1 million and cresting. Over that.
Right. And that's luxury, I guess.
Oh, for sure. Right. Yeah. That's $1 million in New York City is a studio apartment.
Right. It's nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
That's not luxury.
It's not buying you anything.
Luxury is certainly defined by the market that you're in.
Sure.
But furthermore, I think luxury is more of a mindset.
Yeah.
And, I think it's more of like a level of service. It's a concierge level of service. It's understanding that, this house may, only be 300 or 400 or 500, but that's all the house that you can afford. It's certainly a luxury to you.
Sure.
And you're upgrading to where you are, right?
Anything could be luxury.
Right.
If you mindset is
and
that.
even in Philadelphia, right? Like Pensport's going to be different than Grays Ferry, than Graduate Hospital,
Sure,
to
it's all different
Fishtown, to
neighborhoods.
Fairmount.
Right.
It's all going to be different.
Right. Right.
The top of the market there. So to me, it's.
I mean, I guess my question I'm trying to drill at is like to become a luxury agent, like to say that, I only do luxury properties. Let's say I'm a normal agent. Like, is that something where I'm just, is it you just say I'm going to become one now?
A normal agent. That's funny.
Correct me.
No, it's. I don't. Sure, like to call yourself a luxury agent, like I think you probably need to be doing deals in this, in the 7 figures.
Okay.
Right. I think you need to be doing deals in them, but
Good.
but again, funny, like the kind of deals that I do would be like, a joke in New York City or in
New York, forget
Palm Beach or
Well, that's why you have the New Yorkers coming to Philly.
Yeah.
Because it's so much, right? You're seeing a lot of that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. They come here and it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah. But again, I don't want to say like no number is a joke because it's not what I think of it. It's what.
Sure. What you're willing to pay for.
It's the client, right? It's them. It's them.
Yeah.
It's them. I think, but are you asking me like how to sort of get to that level?
Correct.
Or? Okay.
Like how does one break into that level? Because I know there's a lot of agents that want to take it to the next level. I've had them on my show. They have big dreams of doing numbers and building teams. And that's great. I like people like that because I like someone who's, wants to grow,
For sure.
and become something new. So how do you, I'm sure they want to take it into that market. So what are they doing in order to do that? I guess it's just a mindset change and a different type of marketing.
You used to say like you have to dress for the job you want, not the one you have.
Right.
Right. And that's not not a comment on what I'm wearing, but
you have it on now.
I run into plenty of luxury agents in the main line that are wearing shorts and sneakers.
I'm sure I've seen them too. I know it.
But you got to be in those rooms. You got to find a way to get in those rooms.
So networking.
Yeah, it was huge for me. Networking.
Okay.
I think you need to leverage. I mean, so we have some luxury agents on our team that do sell much higher price items or houses that I do.
Okay.
And I think you need to leverage that. You need to, again, create content around those properties.
Okay.
Be seen with those properties.
Okay.
Right. And it's a little bit of the language, right? You kind of have to mature it up a little bit.
Yeah, you have to be a certain type of.
Yeah. And it's funny because Ryan kind of blurs that line a little bit. And I'm one of those guys I'm kind of a goofy guy and I like to be funny. Right. But you got to kind of know when to turn it on and when to not. Right. So I think
the networking is big. And I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of the agents that come on our show say that if I don't go to networking events and do stuff like that, I got to put myself in positions to, meet people and that's the way that they're growing is getting out there and showing their faces and doing things like that.
Yeah. So, when I started at Serhant in April of 23, we had the big rate spike that happened in May of 22 or June 22.
Yeah.
I'm sure you remember it well, right?
I wanted to
you wake up in the middle of the nights being like, no.
Yeah. Like right now you're bringing back bad memories.
I know. So, but the market, that sort of COVID, absolute, just.
Yeah.
That whole big boom that we had came to a screeching halt in the summer of 22.
Yeah.
So I was looking for a way to expand my business. I was looking at a way to get in more places. And
you were one of them agents that ran away because a lot of them did.
A lot
of them took off.
No,
right? It was like, it came to a screeching halt and I heard a lot of the pain.
A lot of people got out. A lot of people got out.
They went the other way.
That's not how I'm built.
Right.
That's not how I'm built.
That's good.
I was determined to succeed. And so
Yeah.
I thought, I just have to change what I'm doing,
Right.
you know?
Just a different market. I got to adapt, and that's it.
Right. So I remember I went to lunch with my market leaders and I was like, hey, like, I think networking could be a really good thing for me. What networking group should I join?
Yeah.
And they had a couple suggestions, but they had another suggestion that I didn't think of, which was you should start your own networking group.
Okay.
So I did. I started a small little
That's
networking
awesome.
group.
That's good.
And I was able to get, title folks and lenders and attorneys and architects and builders. And I had some wholesalers and stuff, some commercial
Mix it up.
folks, and mix it up.
Yeah.
Only one agent though.
I mean, if you run the group, nobody comes
I mean,
in
captive
there. That's
audience,
like me
right?
starting a group and having a loan officer is not happening.
Yeah.
It would just be me.
Yeah,
and
of
that's
course.
it. Yeah. I get it. That's funny though.
But that enabled me to sort of, reach some new people and play connector. Honestly, now, it wasn't just about like getting deals, and I got a deal or two, but I was able to play connector and get some other people connected with each other that could help them. Right.
Which down the road could benefit you because your name comes up them as, you know what I mean? It's laying little things.
I think that's one of the most important roles we can play.
Right. As
real estate professionals is not just like, hey, when you need to buy or sell your house, call me. Otherwise, I'll be working with somebody else. No.
Right.
It's a full-time job with everybody, not just who I'm working with right now. It's about being able to solve all those little real estate issues that come up. I need an attorney. Cool. I've got two. Here you go.
Yeah. Now, are you a 24/7 guy? Like a SERHANT, 24/7, boom, 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 boom. Got to get up in the morning. Let's roll till 9 o'clock at night and crash and then do it all again at 4 a.m. Is that, I mean,
I am not quite a 4 a.m. guy.
Okay.
I'm not up at 4 a.m. and at the gym like Ryan.
You got to go work out. Right. I work out first thing in the morning too, 5 a.m.
If I lived Ryan's schedule, I would be a dead man in 6 weeks. But no, but I used to be always on.
Yes.
Always on. And I did realize that like I needed some boundaries around my business.
Okay.
Because it was killing me. I felt like I would go play golf and the whole time I was there, I'd play like crap because I would be thinking about, I should be doing this. Right. And so this mindset that I'm supposed to always be grinding, I had to sort of dial that back just for my own mental and physical health, right?
Which is a tough thing to do.
Right.
Especially if you're successful in doing good.
That said,
that's the ultimate trap.
That said, I was taking a call last night at 7:30.
That's what I mean, right? So you're going to do it then.
And and then the night before that I had dinner at 9:30, some takeout because I was on a call at 8.
Yeah.
But
I understand.
Right. And I don't know when this is going to come out, but it's spring market right now. So you
got to do it. Right.
You have to.
But we're going to get there
when there's
right now.
food on the table.
Let's talk about this spring market. So in my eyes, the spring market was always boom. I mean, it would start the minute the Super Bowl was over, right? So you'd watch the Super Bowl, you'd be all excited, and then it's the spring market, right? Because everybody just gets back to business and football's over.
Yeah.
And it would roll to the end of June into July. And then you'd hit that summer market. Everybody goes to the beach and they're away and vacations. And then it wouldn't start. The fall market wouldn't start until September. Right. This is a different market we're in. This feels like a different spring market. It feels like we had a spring market that started in February of this year. And we were on a roll there because rates were at 5.99, 5.875. It felt like things were popping, right? And then this war happened, right? And it's kind of like stopped everything. And dead on in the spring market in the beginning of March, right? So, and it feels like we haven't recovered yet. Everybody's on the sideline with this war, not doing anything. And the ones that are doing, we still have the bidding wars, but it just feels like a different spring market. And you feel that in the luxury market too. Are they feeling that? Is it slower than usual? Or people are starting to say, why is it like this? So
luxury buyers are a little bit different.
Okay.
Because their money is kind of comes from a different place.
Okay.
And they do look at it a little bit differently.
Okay.
But what I was going to say, and you probably preaching to the choir here, you probably already know this, but whether the rate is 4 or 7, the market likes certainty. They like it to be stable.
Okay.
They like to know that the rates are going to be in and around this area for a while.
Right.
And with
right now, it's too fluctuating.
There's nothing certain about a war in the Middle East.
Right.
You know?
So people don't know.
Especially one that affects oil the way that this does.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And the gas prices didn't help, obviously, shooting through the ceiling.
Well, yeah. I mean, and not for nothing, but you know, we use oil to make a lot more than just gasoline. You know, we use it for so much stuff. It's used in the production of fertilizer. It's used in the manufacture of plastics.
So everything.
Right? So it's affecting everything. And we just came off of the tail end of like what, you know, and this is like on the heels of, you know, tariff gate or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
we went through that whole mess.
Right. And so
inflation through the ceiling.
Right. And so, I mean, we are unfortunately in some uncertain times. And
do you think once this, whatever happens here and kind of like settles, are we going to take off again? You know, is it going to go back to that spring market that we kind of sort of had in February? Like a lot of people are predicting, you know, Alex, just get ready because the minute this thing goes away and they make peace and everybody goes happy and we're done, boom.
Well, there's a lot of talk about this new Fed chair, right?
Right. And what's he going to do with the rates? Right.
And I know that the president has said that he wants rates lower, right? And historically, that historically mortgage rates have been affected by inflation and the bond market.
Yeah,
and you really could not separate those two. They sort of all moved, you know, in tandem.
10-year treasury is all we care about.
Exactly.
Right.
I am hearing, and maybe you're hearing this too, because you're more on that side than I am, that like this new Fed chair may play around with those interest rates sort of independent of those two things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have no idea what's going to happen then. Like, you know what I mean? When something has sort of been,
he would say make them go down, but I don't, you know.
Right. But like,
I don't know what's going to happen either.
If inflation rates and the bond market are pushing rates up, but the Fed chair is lowering them, that's an economic situation that I'm not smart enough to know how that's going to work.
Right.
You know, I've never experienced that, not in my career. So I'm not really sure. I think everybody would love lower rates. Sellers would feel more confident moving out because to your point, yeah, what you said earlier, I'm in this house, my payment is $2,000.
Sure.
And I'm going to move into a house that's just a little bit more, but a little bit bigger, and it's going to double.
Which is
because the rate is
so high.
Double.
Correct. And the homeowner's insurance is double. And the taxes are good. Higher.
Oh my goodness.
Homeowner's insurance is a nightmare.
We didn't even talk about that. Yeah. This sort of overall, this blanket push up in
they're killing people
rates.
with the insurance rates.
Yeah.
I can't, you know, I have deals that are like, they're right there, but the insurance puts the deal over. Like we're shopping carriers and different people and because it's just too high. You know, the prices are $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a year for homeowners insurance when it would have been $1,500 or $2,000. You know,
I remember when, you know, we were doing these buyer cost estimates, right?
Yeah.
You could pretty much put in $100 a month. We all did it for years.
Listen, it's all we did. It was always 100 across the board. That's funny that you say that.
Yeah.
Because it's the truth.
Yeah.
You know, and now you cannot put that.
No, you cannot.
Because if you do, you're going to get burned.
Yeah.
And there are loan officers that are still doing it out there. And unfortunately, guys, you're going to get burned because nothing is $100 a month. I mean, it's unless you have the bare minimum insurance, which I don't even think the mortgage company will let you. It's not enough coverage then at that point to go that low, right?
Well, so precisely right. That you're underinsured, which is super dangerous.
Which they're not going to let you do. So, you know, now we're putting $150 to $200 a month, which sometimes is even low.
Which is, yeah.
It's hurting.
Yeah.
We can't even get to that.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
Right.
You know, so I think affordability is a huge issue with people right now and that plays a big role into, you know, people buying and like you said, uncertainty on is it going to keep going up or is it eventually going to come down?
Right.
You know, I don't know. But, you know, it's funny that you said when luxury buyers, it really doesn't affect them. I talked to an agent who does a lot of Center City business, and she owns her own shop in Center City. And she said that I don't feel that in a luxury market. What you're explaining to me, what I just explained to you about, it's a weird spring market, not what we're doing. The $2 million buyers and the $3 million buyers and the $1.5 million, we're still rolling. We're not feeling that.
Yeah,
it's when you go down, she said, like that 6,
Right.
7, and 8, and you're
Right.
feeling that.
Well, to her point, I should say, those people, like I said, their money's in a different place. They
Right.
make their money in a different way.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are in a different stage of their life. You know, even like the young couples that are buying, you know, in that $1 million+ price range, a lot of them are getting help from their parents,
Right.
who are, again, those luxury folks that we're talking about. They don't feel it the same way.
Right.
They also think about it they're old enough to think about it in a long-term sense.
Yeah. So they're not saying, oh, well, what's going to happen
They're
right now? Right.
They're not
hold
going to
on to
be
it.
swayed by a breezy day.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they have the money to
Listen,
take the hit.
wealth is a great insulator.
Yeah. So how do you stay motivated every day in this market? You wake up and you say, today's a new day and I'm into it. There's a lot of agents that come on that don't seem that like they're motivated anymore. And I think that's because of what's going on over the last year or two. And it's a hard market and all this stuff. And loan officers the same thing. And they're very unmotivated now because of what's happened and the uncertainty. What keeps you motivated?
Well, that is not my story, my man. I am fired up. I really am. I can
tell, man.
I'm super excited. I'm
That's
super
good.
excited. And maybe it's just because I'm excited about my business, right?
Right.
But I have this piece of paper behind so I have two screens at my desk, and I have this piece of paper above the screen, and it says, someone in Philadelphia needs my help today.
It's true.
And it is my job to find them.
Yeah.
Right?
They say there's a person signing a contract every day. Are they going to do it with you?
Right. And there's a listing every day.
Yeah. Same thing. Yeah.
And look, I'm not, I'm competitive. I'm not like a shark. I'm not, I don't badmouth my,
you don't need to,
I don't badmouth my colleagues. Well, first of all, because they're, I know a lot of agents. You do too. They're great
you don't want to ruin your reputation.
There are a lot of great agents in this city.
It's a small circle too. It's a big city, but it's a small circle. Everybody knows.
What's the 80-20 rule, right? Like the 20%, we all know each other.
That's what I mean.
I see the same folks on the listing signs and on the buyer's agreements that I get on my listings.
Right. You're going to run into them.
And it's great. Those are the people that I have to work with day in and day out. Right. But I'm excited because I see this as the service industry.
Yeah.
Real estate is something that can be a huge stressor. Going back to what I said before, usually real estate is like one of the effects of something larger, some larger change in somebody's life.
Why they're doing it. Right.
And if I can help you take, and the real estate part of it can really complicate it, really make it worse. If I can somehow make that easier, and you know what? I know you're going through a lot. Let me take that part of it off your plate. Yeah. If I can do that, then I can make other people's lives better. And I think that kind of goes back to like just the core philosophy about why I think I'm on this earth. I mean, I don't want to delve too deep into that, but
I hear you.
I just think my purpose is to be of service of my fellow man. And and this is the way that I have chosen, or I have been led consciously or subconsciously to this industry to do that. So that to me is sort of an evergreen motivation, right? And also, dude, Serhant is fun.
Yeah.
I love being at Serhant.
Right.
I love where we're going because we're in, one of Ryan's sayings is expansion always in all
it's
ways.
A famous line.
Yeah,
right.
of course.
Yep.
And I love that. I've adopted that. And I'm like, my business is growing. I'm not, people are stepping out of the market, and, I wish you the best of luck in your new endeavor, but don't worry, I'll take care of your clients for you.
I feel like you're stepping on each other's toes right now as far as,
I'll say this. It can be that way a little bit on the listing side.
Right. Yep.
Because, people are impatient. Sellers are impatient.
Sure they are. they want to sell right away. And then if you don't sell it right away, then they're ready to move on to the next guy, right?
Yeah. I mean, I had I'm certainly not going to name names. And by the time this comes out, we'll see how it pans out. But I had a conversation just last night with somebody. Their house has been on the market less than 90 days total. And they're frustrated because they're not getting what they want.
Yeah.
And they don't know if it's the price or the marketing. But, and honestly, in the luxury market, the buyers are a little bit like that too. For the first time in my career, I'm seeing these non-exclusive buyer agreements where it's like, hey, it's really tough to get what I want. It's really tough to find the house that I want. We're scared, especially we haven't even talked about this, about the move to more private listings that's happening.
Off market, you mean?
The more off market listings, as we're sort of the pendulum swinging a little bit in that direction, for better or for worse. I got my opinions on that, but
I mean, are there a lot of agents walking around with pocket listings right now?
Yes.
Really?
Depends on what market you're in, but they are. And so we talk about it every week on our sales call, our team call. It's like, buyers are saying, I'm going to be loyal to the agent that finds me the house that I want, and it might be somebody from that brokerage, or it could be you, or it could be somebody from that brokerage. And so I'm not going to sign any super exclusive or long-term exclusive buyer or agency agreement, which again, that's unheard of in my experience. Like that's a new thing,
right?
Because of that narrow inventory that we talked about,
right? And they're looking to go with the best guy, and right. So the buyer exclusive thing is you have to sign that, I guess, on every deal now, or is it like right?
NAR settlement,
yeah, which is crazy, but I guess it is what it is,
and that's still evolving too. That part, like the
unfortunately, I think a lot of people are not even following that. I hate to say, I see that.
You will not hear me say that on camera.
Right. Exactly.
I'm sure all of my colleagues in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania are following the rules.
Right. And he doesn't want to do that.
The
right. I get it.
I know that. Let me say this. I know that we dedicate a little bit of time on our team meetings to we review the code of ethics, one little section at a time all through the year.
Wow.
Shout out, Steve.
You go to the office every day or no? Are you?
I'm not an office every day guy.
Okay.
I'm in the office about once a week.
Because you should be out, right? I mean, this is the big thing with agents that say that I don't have any business. Well, you can't go to the office every day. And loan officers, you can't go to the office. You got to go out.
I think for some people, and it's funny because there's an agent on my team that I know real well, known each other 20 years, and she has to go to the office because
I think there's certain people that are built like
because
that.
The distractions are at home.
Correct.
Right. For me,
which I'm not down on you if you have to go to the office every day. It's fine.
No.
That's your business.
You do what's best for you.
Sure.
For me, my distractions are at the office.
Yeah.
Because there's somebody's making a call and I'm like, what's
you're listening to them.
Or a couple of the marketing folks are coming up with an idea and I'm like, I want to jump in and help them give them an idea, or they're discussing something and I get drawn into those conversations.
Or you have somebody dumping their problem on your desk and see how you can help their problem.
Right.
Which takes away from your day.
For me, I like being in the office when nobody else is there. If I need to be there, or, I work really well from my office at home.
Okay.
I have a dedicated setup. So for me, I just want to be where there's less distractions.
Yeah. And get the job done and get on the street.
Yeah,
I mean, as a agent of your caliber and what you guys do, are you on the street a lot, during the day, meeting with people and touring and doing all that? Or is it primarily, it's more in the office type of work because it's a different type of client? So you have to be in the office or on, at your home office.
Depends on what day it is.
Right. Okay.
Some days I am out the whole day. I mean, yesterday I was in Ardmore, Narberth, and Gladwin from 9:45 until about 3.
Right.
You're
out. Yeah.
The day before I was in the city, I was in Fishtown the whole time, and so it just really, some days it just depends on what we're doing,
You're doing a lot of open houses? Because I have a lot of agents that come on here pitching saying, you got to do open houses every week. You can do 3 a week, do 2 a week, do 5 a week, do as many as you can do because that's where the business is at.
Well, I did, as you well know, I did come straight from an open house.
I know you did. I know. He literally shot here from an open house. You did it in the morning and it came right over. So
I crossed traffic.
I've had a lot, either leave here and go to their open houses or come here and go to their open, whatever it is.
So I think open houses are important. I think it depends on the listing, right?
Yeah.
Some some buyers want them, or sorry, some sellers want them and some don't.
Right. As far as getting actual businesses, have you gotten actual business out of it?
Oh, yeah. So, that was the next piece is like, it depends on like how good you are with like, because we don't all have the same personality.
Right.
I've done
You
fairly
gotta have the
well.
personality.
I've done
Sure.
fairly well in procuring buyers from open houses. I've actually sold houses from open houses as well. Last year I had a buyer come into an open house. They didn't get that one, but I was able to help them buy literally the house next door. You know, so like sometimes that
it became your client no matter what.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So for me, that's a great lead generation tool. It's a great opportunity for me to, to have my stores open, right? Like we're sort of virtual businesses nowadays.
Right. Because they're walking in and they're meeting you and you're selling yourself.
So we've got my sign out front. We're open for business from 12 to 2 today.
Yeah.
And, and I'm there and I'm prepared and we got a little vibe going with the speaker, and I'm there to press the flesh and meet folks.
Right.
But it's interesting. And I don't want to maybe I shouldn't say this on camera, but, I believe the NAR stats are something like only 10% of homes sell to someone from the open house. So the other 90% are just buyers in the market
that are just looking.
Right. And the truth is that real estate agents hold open houses, yes, to showcase your property, but it's more likely that I'm going to collect, that your house is going to attract buyers that I'm going to be able to then turn into clients.
The chances of somebody actually walking in on an open house and making an offer on the spot or making an offer that night or whatever is not happening.
It's really rare. It's really rare. But I mean, again, it depends on the market. I'm not saying it's an absolute, but it depends on the market. It depends on the price range,
right,
and where it is. So, all
right. So leave us with this: the future of, and that's not a 2-part question either. It's just the future of what you think will happen here over the next year. I know you're going to continue to grow as an agent in the city and as a loan officer in this city. We've been through some tough patches. I think right now we could be hopefully coming to a turning point again here where, and I think the experienced and the best are still in the business, and that's who should be here. And I think you kind of did weed out a lot of the people that should have been here to begin with, which I hate to say, but which is the truth. So you're left with your professionals, the ones that are doing the business every day. Like you said, the ones that are happy to be in the business, they're here for a career. They're not here just to say, oh, well, I'm a quick buck, and because the quick buck is gone.
Take advantage of a booming industry, say like in 2020, 2021.
Right. Like somebody put on a monkey could have made money in 2020, which is crazy. But,
that's how you wind up with class action lawsuits.
Right. You can't say that, but this is the kind of stuff that it goes through social media. But on the flip side, it was easier to make money then, and now we got a normal market now. But we're more of a normal market now versus what it was then. What do you see happening now? What is the real estate industry going to go through another boom? Do you feel coming up in 2027? So I think 2026 is kind of the same thing as 2025. We're just kind of just moving and going through the market. But I think a boom is coming. No, not a 2%, 3% rate boom. I think you'll see rates go into low 5s, maybe eventually come in, right? And that may jump things up. But then will the inventory ever come back?
And these are all questions you're posing to me.
These are all questions that, I guess I want your feedback.
Okay. Hey, Ryan, can you, so.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think, and I'm not trying to dodge the question because I will give you an answer, but I think that I want to preface it by saying, I think the real estate market is perhaps as unpredictable as it's ever been.
Yeah.
I think that coming up through COVID, 2018, you kind of knew what was going to happen based on 2017. In 2019, you kind of knew based on 2018. Right. Coming out.
That's what I mean, because it was just a normal time.
Well, we were coming out of the huge mortgage
Correct.
crisis of 2008.
Yeah. Which is a whole nother bomb.
Right. Stay tuned for episode 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Something has got to give, right? Something has to give. Um,
And that's how I feel. Like those exact words, something has to give. When will that give is going to be the question.
I still firmly believe that the greatest avenue to personal wealth is homeownership. The average net worth of someone who rents versus someone who owns a home is exponentially larger.
Because they have the equity in that home.
Right. I mean, you can explain this better than anybody else. You're taking money from your left pocket and put it in your right.
Pretty much.
And on your primary residence, the government's going to give you a tax deduction on your interest.
You're going to read the interest right off.
So you're quite literally only paying for your insurance and your taxes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. If you owe money at the end of the year, you may get some money back.
Yeah, perhaps. So I still think the desire to own a home, even though it's less affordable now than it ever has been as it relates to wages, it's always going to be a huge, huge motivator and driver in personal economics.
Okay, cool.
And I think that as the 2%, the 2.5%, the 3% type folks, sure, they may hold on to that house and rent it forever, right? Even like not your typical landlord type folks, but they're like, I can't give this.
Well, they'll just keep it and private rent out to whatever.
This is costing me $1.50 a month. I can't, So, but I think eventually those people are going to have to move, right? Those people are going to come off of those mortgages in those homes, and we'll all get adjusted to the new normal. And you can't stay in a super tight inventory forever because there's too much opportunity in the gaps on the side, whereas the guy who was building all the houses in 2016 is like, I can't do this. This is ridiculous. It's too expensive. Yeah. There's a builder out there that's coming up right now that is like, I see opportunity here, So anytime you have like an extreme swing of the pendulum, like we've had with inventory specifically,
it'll come back.
It creates opportunity in its wake.
Yeah. It'll come back. I like your optimism. I mean, you're, we need that. You need that in this market, and it's not all gloom and doom.
Yeah, look, I'll put a pin in that one for you here. People ask me all the time, well, do you think housing prices are going to go down? Do you think if I buy this house, I could be underwater in 6 months? You think it's going to go down? And my answer is twofold. One, historically, going back to like the beginning of modern data, housing prices only go one way long term. They always appreciate.
Sure.
Secondly, I tell them if your home value goes down significantly, I'm sorry to tell you that the reason for that will be so bad that you losing value in your home will not be what you're worried about. Yeah, you'll be worried about groceries. It'll be such a huge, wrecking ball to the economy to cause your house to go down. That'll be what you're worried about, not your loss of value.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Sure. And I think that's a good answer. And I think people are worried that, will this bubble eventually pop and will these values go down because I bought so high, but it just keeps going up. So,
over the short term, perhaps, but never in the long.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on.
Alex, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
You need to do your own show. All right? That's it.
My own show would be like 3 hours long because I wouldn't stop talking.
That's all right. You may get the viewers. People like long shows. No, I appreciate you coming on.
My pleasure.
Good luck with what you do. We'll have you back on down the road to see how you're doing.
Likewise.
And tell Ryan I said hi too. I'm sure that you guys talk to him like every once in a while, or like, what is it? Like,
I mean, he's a busy guy, but I have his number and we chat from time to time.
Yeah. All right. Let's conference him in real quick. Hey Ryan, what's going on?
See how that goes.
That's not going to work now. But thank you for coming on.
Now you make it. Should I call him?
No.
See if I can get him on.
What podcast? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Do I really have time? No, I don't have time for that.
I have no time for that. All right, come on. But we'll talk soon. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
And good luck with everything.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you. Have a good week, guys. I'll see you next week.